Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtukrayeshu Bhatrechu Nityam Bhagavatasya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 1, the later pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, text 88 onwards. Dwadash Vatsara Shesha Aicha Gunaila E Mata Shesha Lila Trividhane Kaila. The last 12 years of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were passed in this transcendental craziness. Thus he executed his last pastimes in 3 ways. Sannyas kari 24 vatsar kaila ye karam ananta paratar ki jani bim. For the 24 years after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order, whatever pastimes he executed were unlimited and unfathomable. Who can understand the purport of such pastimes? Uddesha kari te kari digdarshan, mukhya mukhya lila kari sutragana. Just to indicate those pastimes, I am presenting a general survey of the chief pastimes in the form of a synopsis. Prathama Sutra Prabhu Sannyasakaran, Sannyasakari Chalila Prabhu Sri Vrindavan. This is the first synopsis. After accepting the sannyas order, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Vrindavan. So clearly these statements are a real account of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of the renounced order of life. His acceptance of this renounced order is not at all comparable to the acceptance of sannyas by Mayavadis. After accepting sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to reach Vrindavan. He was unlike the Mayavadi sannyasis who dared to merge into the existence of the Absolute. For Vaishnav, acceptance of sannyas means getting relief from all material activities and completely devoting oneself to the trans-loving of the Lord. So this is the meaning of sannyas. Means in body, mind, words, soul, everything to be engaged in the service of the Lord. This is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjata. Nirbandha Krishna sambandha yuktam vairagyam uchyate. For a Vaishnava, the renounced order means completely giving up attachment for material things and engaging non-stop in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Mayavadi sannyasis, however, do not know how to engage everything in the service of the Lord because they have no devotional training. They think material objects to be untouchable. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The Mayavadis think that the world is false, but the Vaishnava sannyasis do not think like this. Vaishnava says, why should the world be false? It is a reality and it is meant for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See the difference in consciousness, thought process. For a Vaishnava sannyasi, renunciations means not accepting anything for personal sense enjoyment. Devotional service means engaging everything for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this is not just for sannyasis, for everybody, the brahmachari, grahastha, vanprastha. This mentality should be there. But specifically for sannyasis, means because they have formally accepted the renounced order of life, means no more entanglement in the material world. And when Prabhupada says renunciation means not accepting anything for personal sense enjoyment, everything for satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's a fine line there. Now, who's going to decide? So the sannyasi who has taken sannyas, he has to be more careful and he has to do this introspection. always, that I'm accepting something for my personal sense enjoyment or for the service of the. This introspection is very, very important. Premete vival bhaya nahi kasmaran radha desh teen din karila brahman. When proceeding towards Vrindavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed with ecstatic love for Krishna, and he lost all remembrance of the external world. In this way, he traveled continuously for 3 days in Ranadesh, the country where the Ganga river does not flow. So 3 days he traveled in Ranadesh. Ranadesh actually, if you remember, it was a place where Nityanand Prabhu appeared. Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu Bulaya, Ganga Tire Laya, Ila Yamuna Baliya. First of all, Lord Nityanand bewildered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by bringing him along the bank of Ganga, saying that it was the river Yamuna. Shantipure Acharya Grihe Agaman Prathama Bhiksha Kaila Tahant Patre Sankirtan. After 3 days, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the house of Advaita Acharya at Shantipur and accepted alms there. Means accepted the he first begging he did was over there. This was his first acceptance of alms. At night he performed congregational chanting there. It appears that in his transcendental ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgot to eat for 3 continuous days because he was in ecstasy. He didn't know where he was going. He was just chanting, dancing, and walking in Radhadesh. He was then misled by Nityanand Prabhu, who said that the river Ganges was the river Ganga, actually, not Ganges. The river Ganga was Yamuna. Because the Lord was in ecstasy of going to Vrindavan, he was gladdened to see the Yamuna. Although in actuality, the river was Ganga. In this way, the Lord was brought to the house of Advaita Prabhu at Shantipur after 3 days, and he accepted food there. As long as the Lord remained there, he saw his mother Shachi Devi and every night executed congregation chanting with all the devotees. Now, this is another thing a sannyasi, or actually every devotee, should do. Whenever we get invited to somebody's place for prasadam, so in return, the devotee has to give something. So either does the kirtan or katha, then accept prasadam. Then it makes a real loving reciprocation. Mata Bhakta Ganeta Karila Milan Sarva Samadhana Kari Kaila Nila Trigaman. At the house of Advaita Prabhu, he met his mother as well as the devotees from Mayapur. He adjusted everything and then went to Jagannath. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew very well that his acceptance of sannyas was a thunderbolt for his mother. He therefore called for his mother and the devotees from Mayapur, and by the arrangement of Sri Advaita Acharya, he met them for the last time after his acceptance of sannyas. His mother was overwhelmed with grief when she saw that he was clean shaven. There was no longer any beautiful hair on his head. Mother Shachi was pacified by all the devotees, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked her to cook for him because he was hungry, not having taken anything for 3 days. His mother immediately agreed, and forgetting everything else, she cooked for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during all the days she was at the house of Sri Advaita. Then after a few days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested his mother's permission to go to Jagannath Puri. At his mother's request, he made Jagannath Puri his headquarters after his acceptance of sannyas. Thus, everything was adjusted, and with his mother's permission, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Jagannath Puri. Pathe Nana Lila Ras Deva Darshan, Madhava Purir Katha Gopal Sthapan. On the way toward Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed many other pastimes. He visited various temples and heard the story about Madhavendra Puri and the installation of Gopal. So this he heard from Nityanand Prabhu at Remuna or Balasore, where Gopinath ji is there, Khirchora Gopinath. This Madhavpuri is Madhvendrapuri. Another Madhavpuri is Madhvacharya, who was the spiritual master of a devotee in the line of Gadadhar Pandit, and who wrote a book known as Sri Mangal Bhashya. Madhvacharya, however, is different from Madhvendrapuri, who is mentioned in this verse. Khira Churi Katha Sakshi Gopala Vivrana Nityananda Kaila Prabhu Danda Bhanjana. From Nityanand Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the story of Kshir Churi Gopinath and of the witness Gopal or Sakshi Gopal. Then Nityanand Prabhu broke the sannyas rod belonging to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Kshir Churi Gopinath is situated in Remuna, about 5 miles away from Baleshwar or Balasur station on the northeastern railway, formerly known as Bengal Mayapur Railway. This station is situated a few miles from the famous Kharagpur Junction station. Oh, it's only a few miles from Kharagpur. I didn't know. Some time ago, the head of the temple was Sham Sundar Adhikari from Gopi Vallabhpura, which lies on the border of the district of Midnapur. Sham Sundar Adhikari was a descendant of Rasikanand Murari, the chief disciple of Shyamanand Goswami. A few miles before the Jagannath Puri station is a small station called Sakshi Gopal. Near this station is a village named Satyavadi, where the temple of Sakshi Gopal is situated. So when we come to that story, we'll discuss that in detail. क्रुद्ध हया एका गेला जगन्नाथ देखीते देखिया मूर्छित हया पड़िला भूमिते. After his sannyas rod was broken by Nityanand Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu apparently became very angry and left his company to travel alone to the Jagannath temple. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the Jagannath temple and saw Lord Jagannath, he immediately lost his senses and fell down on the ground. सार्वभौमलया गेला आपन भवान तृतीय प्रहर प्रभु हैला चेताना. After Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Lord Jagannath in the temple and fell down unconscious, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took him to his home. The Lord remained unconscious until the afternoon, when he finally regained his consciousness. Nityananda Jagadananda Damodar Mukunda Pache Asi Mili Sabe Paila Ananda. The Lord had left Nityananda's company and had gone alone to the Jagannath temple. But later Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar and Mukunda came to see him, and after seeing him they were very pleased. तबे सार्वभौमे प्रभु प्रसाद करेला आपना ईश्वर मूर्ति थारे देखाइला. After this incident, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya by showing him his original form as a Lord. Tabe takarila Prabhu dakhina gamana kurma kshetra kaila vasudevi mocha. After bestowing mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Lord started for southern India. When he came to Kurma Kshetra, he delivered a person named Vasudeva. So we'll read that in detail later on. Jiyada Narsimha Kaila Narsimha Pathe Pathe Grame Grame Nama Pravartana. After visiting Kurma Kshetra, the Lord visited the South Indian temple of Jiyad Narsimha and offered his prayers to Lord Narsimhadev. On his way, he introduced the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in every village. Godavari Tire Vane Vrindavan Brahma Ramananda Rai Sahatai Milana. Once the Lord mistook the forest on the bank of the river Godavari to be Vrindavan. In that place, he happened to meet Ramanand Rai. So again, I heard it's a beautiful place where he met Ramanand Rai. And Godavari River is flowing at the banks of Godavari, he met Rai. And ISKCON also has a wonderful temple over there. Trimala Tripadi Sthana Kaila Darshan Sarvatra Karila Krishna Nama Pracharan. He visited the place known as Tirumala and Tirupati, where he extensively preached the chanting of the Lord's holy name. This holy place is situated in the district of Tanjore or Chittoor, South India. The temple of Tirupati is situated in the valley of Venkatachal and contains a deity of Lord Ramchandra. On top of Venkatachala is a famous temple of Balaji. And there also ISKCON has a beautiful temple. Tabe tapashandi gane karila dalana ahovala narsimadi kaila darashan. After visiting the temple of Tirumala and Tirupati, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to subdue some atheists. He then visited the temple of Ahoval Narsimha or Ahobilam. The Ahoval temple is situated in Dakshinatya in the district of Karnoola within the subdivision of Sharabela. Throughout the whole district, this very famous temple is much appreciated by the people. There are 8 other temples also, and all of them together are called Nav Narsimha temples. There is much wonderful architecture and artistic engraving work in these temples. However, as stated in the local gazette, the Karnoola manual, the work is not complete. And sometimes it is said that this is where Lord Nrsimhadev appeared, Ahobilam. Maybe some kalpa he appeared there. Shri Rang Kshetra Aila Kaveri Tira Shri Rang Dekhiya Prema Aile Asthira. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the land of Shri Ranga Kshetra on the bank of the Kaveri, he visited the temple of Shri Ranganath and was then overwhelmed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead. So Ranga Kshetra, where Ranganath ji is there. त्रिमल्ल भट्टेर घरे कैला प्रभु वास तहाई रहिला प्रभु वर्ष चारि मास. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived at the house of Trimal Bhatta for the 4 months of the rainy season. So that house is still there and looked after by a descendant of Trimal Bhatta. And he lets his ISKCON devotees go there and chanting and take darshan. Shri Vaishnav Trimala Bhatta Parama Pandit Gosaira Panditya Preme Haila Vismita. Shri Trimal Bhatta was both a member of the Shri Vaishnav community and a learned scholar. Therefore, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was both a great scholar and a great devotee of the Lord, he was very much astonished. Chaturmasya Gahataha Prabhu Shri Vaishnavera Sani Gonaila Nitya Gita Krishna Sankirtani. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed the Chaturmasya months with the Shri Vaishnavas, singing, chanting the holy name and dancing. Chaturmasya ante Prabhuna Dakhina Gamana Parvananda Puri Sahatai Milan. After the end of Chaturmasya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued traveling throughout South India. At that time, he met Parmanand Puri. Tabbe Bhatta Hari Haite Krishna Dasher Udhara Rama Japi Vipra Mukhe Krishna Nam Prachar. After this, Krishnadas, the servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was delivered from the clutches of a Bhatta Hari. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then preached that Lord Krishna's name should also be chanted by Brahmins who were accustomed to chanting Lord Ram's name. In the Malabar district, a section of the Brahmins are known as Nambudri Brahmins, and the Bhattaharis are their priests. Bhattaharis know some tantric black arts, such as the art of killing a person, of bringing him under submission, and of destroying or devastating him. They're very expert in these black arts. And one such Bhattahari bewildered the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while the servant accompanied the Lord in his travels through South India. Somehow or other, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered this Krishnadas from the clutches of the Bhattahari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is well known as Patit Pavan, the savior of all fallen souls. And he proved this in his behavior towards his personal servant, Krishnadas, whom he saved. Sometimes the word Bhattahari is misspelled in Bengal as Bhattamari instead of Bhattahari. But point is, see, we were talking about this black arts the other day, tantric black arts, and they are there. Art of killing a person, bringing him under submission, and destroying or devastating him. And this Krishnadas, actually his name was Kala Krishnadas, so he was the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu left Jagannath Puri to go to South India, so many devotees said, "We will go with you because you would forget yourself in your ecstatic dancing, chanting. So we'll just carry your kamandal and change of clothes for you." And Mahaprabhu said, "No, no, no, none of you will go. Nityanand, I cannot take him because he broke my tanda and I don't know what else he's going to do. And all of you, no, you don't listen to me, so I'm not going to take you." So finally they decided this young boy, Kala Krishnadas, a brahmachari, so he can travel with Mahaprabhu. And he will serve, we will be his personal servant. Okay. So even though he was right in the association of Mahaprabhu for so many months, where Mahaprabhu went to South India for 2 years, still he got affected by these black arts of Bhattaharis. Can we imagine that? And not just they were doing black art, they also had some women in their control, and they would send these women to attract young boys, and then they would bring them under their control. So they had brought Krishnadas in their control, and Mahaprabhu went to ask, "This is my only servant, please let him go." So they said, "No, we will not let him go." And then Mahaprabhu had to, we will read up to this, what happened. Mahaprabhu had to do something. But the point is how careful we have to be in our bhajan. Because there are so many envious people all over, and they can pay any of this black tantric artist and can do some damage to us. Enviousness is always there. So point is, we got to do our sadhana in a much better way. That's all. Okay, I guess I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this means that Krishnadas was not doing his sadhana properly, that he got casual with this tantrics.
Either that or Mahaprabhu wanted to use him as an example.
Okay. Okay.
Because
But
he
ये
is
कलयुग में
direct
ज्यादा हो रहा है ना
associate of
कुछ.
Mahaprabhu. Huh?
Sorry, Prabhuji. Sorry, continue.
He is
What
in
were you saying?
direct service of Mahaprabhu, so he is not an ordinary
हाँ.
person.
So this was my this thing.
Yeah, so Mahaprabhu maybe wanted to use him as an example.
So what I was thinking is like कलयुग में ज्यादा है क्या ये सब black magic and all that, या पहले भी होता था?
पता नहीं पहले का।
आई नो, बट अब ज्यादा है, अब बहुत है ये।
है तो सही।
और ज्यादा बढ़ता जा रहा है डे बाय डे ना, हम लोगों ने तो इतने साल से हैं तब नहीं सुना था ऐसा, अब तो इस टाइप बहुत लोगों से सुनते आ रहे हैं सर।
करते ही हैं लोग, करते ही हैं।
जगन्नाथ जी रक्षा
चलो
करें
ठीक
बाबा।
है।
ओके, थैंक यू प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा।
ओके, थैंक यू माता। हरे कृष्ण, जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
हरे कृष्ण, जय श्री
जय श्री
कृष्ण।